Talking Wanderers is back, and I've got a new presenter with me.
Hi guys.
You right, Tobes?
Yeah, you're right, James.
Yes, good. Gary's gone. He's no more. But he did pass on his regards today. He sent me a message, said that he was looking forward to listening to it and stuff. And we've also got our first guest.
Hello, you alright?
Yeah, all right. Would you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Ross McNeilly. I'm the head first team coach at Dorking Wanderers.
Mm-hmm. And Ross, you've been here since the start of this season, haven't you? Came in the summer.
Yeah, I have indeed. Yeah, I got a call from Mark on my holidays in Greece, Santorini, to come and do the job after Beatty moved to Eastbourne. So yeah, I've been here about 3 months now.
Okay.
Feels a lot longer, but.
Yeah.
So, how are you finding it at Dorking Wanderers then?
Yeah, awesome. Like, I mean, I've my certainly last 2 jobs I've done for quite a long period of time. So I was probably 2 jobs over 11, 12 year period. So to come in to do something different is a little bit. It was new, but everyone's been very welcoming. Very friendly club. Like, obviously super successful club as well. So. Trying to sort of fit into that environment, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my time here so far. I think I'm easy. I like to coach, and I've given the opportunity to coach at National League after experiencing it for sort of like 7-8 months last year. So yeah, I'm pretty chuffed to be able to continue, really.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you had that opportunity last year. So that was at Aldershot, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So what was the job you got there then? Because you were in the academy, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
And then what happened after that then? Then you managed to step up to take over first team management, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got. I was out again. I seem like I'm out all the time. I was out with my missus on Saturday night with some food, and I'd had quite a lot of red wine. We were in a wine bar, and I got a call on, I think it was like 15th of October maybe, to go in and take over for the next game, which was at home to York. Mark Molesey was the manager, and when got off to the best start, I think we were bottom of the league, second bottom. So the plan was for me to go in for 1 game. Ended up being 3. Then it ended up being 6, and then it ended up being 30. So it was something which is very different to what I was used to doing. I've forever worked with like youth, or certainly been involved in development. So. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the winning behind it, and that sort of planning to win. So
you had a win here, didn't you?
I did have a win here. Yeah. But we don't. Yeah. It's not because it's not too easy to talk about. But
Don't remind me of that one.
yeah, no, yeah, we don't really talk about it, to be honest. I mean, for me, it's like I'm in Dorking now, so it doesn't matter, and it's quite funny to talk about. But it was, and in reflection, and this isn't me like sort of like rubbing it in or anything. It was due to be my last game that.
Right.
So I'd rocked up here. We'd won 2. I think we'd come out the relegation zone, and I was just planning on doing it, and then going back into the academy on sort of Monday, and then I got another 3. So it does sit with. It is quite a one that I remember well. I went out in Dorking after as well. Did you? I went out to. We went out to drink with my missus and her friend. So yeah, that was quite cool as well.
Okay. So prior to that, then the academy stuff. Obviously, you're not from the south, are you? So what brought you down to this kind of area? Was that football related anyway, or was that?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I when I was 18, I went to university, and I was at university in Leeds for like 3-4 years, and then stayed in Leeds till I was like 28. Went back home to work for Sunderland, and then just.
You've always been working in football.
I've always worked. Yeah.
Okay.
I played since I was a kid, and then I never really played a massive high level. Played some professional football and stuff, and I've been in and around, like sort of Graham Potter was at Leeds Met around when I was there, and so a lot of my sort of even when you don't sort of like play for someone for a long time or something, you sort of have that connection, and that's sort of like where my style or where I've sort of like everything I've learnt's come from, really. To quite lucky or not, I played with Ian Birchnell as well at university, so like we're all sort of from that sort of like school, if that makes sense. So yeah, then just wanted to move south, really. A lot of my best friends lived in London, so for me it was just about, can I get south? I got a job at a college, random job as a head of football.
Right.
Stayed there longer than I needed to, really, and then just been down here ever since. Since, to be fair.
And in terms of going from academy to like first team, big difference?
Yeah, I mean, it's more enjoyable preparing week to week for the games and for trying to win. I mean, winning is obviously it's great, isn't it? And it's addictive, and that's probably the big difference. I think you're when you're in academy football, there's and it's not that it's not you don't have to deal with it, but there's so many other things to deal with, and like whether it's GCSE results or whether it's A-level results and all that you sort of in and around it. So for me, it's just now football, and I think people might, and there was obviously this the joke when I was at Aldershot, I was the PE teacher and stuff, because that was the background. But I think like the objective always was to be full-time in football. I've just always been lucky enough or whatever to be paid quite well by working in like sort of like full-time in education and full-time in sort of as the academy manager. I mean, I went to do the academy manager at Aldershot primarily only to do the 21s really. I just wanted to coach, and it was an opportunity for me to go and coach a local team and do the 21s, and that was it really.
Excellent. So moving across to Dorking then, sum up the 7 games we've had so far then, Ross. And this is where you can be honest.
Yeah, no, of course, of course.
We're at every game, so we see that as well and stuff, and so
I mean, there's
from a coach's perspective and things like that.
Well, I think like even if you just take me into account, there's loads of new things going on, right? Like I'm a big believer on like cohesion and consistency, and this club's probably is a good advocate of that, or a real good example of that. But like me coming in is different. I think we're going through a massive transition and I've never been involved in that. Somebody going, we're a part-time, remember? And
that's where you've stepped in just as that's happening.
As it's happening, almost as like I'm in the middle of it, and it's not like we're coming and we're dealing with going full-time, or we're coming and we're part-time and we're contemplating going full. We're literally in the middle of it, and that transition into that environment is a challenge. It's got loads of challenges, and we've all, as people know, we've introduced sort of like training during the day, which is obviously great, but we're still part-time, and you have this sort of players now training in a time and a part of the day they've never played football in. So like people might sound like that's an excuse or whatnot, but that's a massive thing, and I think this club is it's doing the right thing, but it's massively in transition, and there's sort of that will have a bigger impact than people think. And you look at sort of like players still working full-time in jobs, and players like will pick up injuries or whatnot because of that. So I think getting the consistency of the I don't say the best 11, but an 11 on the pitch. Like we haven't. I don't think we've had that. No. I would be surprised if we've named the same team back to back. So these are all big factors, and I think there's some games where you look. I mean, if you were to strip back them game to game, I don't think it's the end of the world. Like Chesterfield was an amazing performance, and then we followed that up with what was disappointing against Maidenhead, and then you look at sort of the 3 home games that followed. I think we've been all right. I think we've been all right. We look like the side I thought that I was coming in to be involved in, and don't get me wrong, there's like the last 20 minutes of the day or whatever, we've maybe not been able to consistently do that, but I think that comes into like the transition and the full-time, the part-time, and the consistency of players and players' injuries. I think these all have such a big factor on it. But I think there's been some really good performances in there, and it gives me a lot of confidence, and on the other side, like you can come back to me coming into the environment. I'm learning to what Mark's like, and what the people here are like, and what the Wanderers way is like, and you see it when you like. Obviously, I managed Aldershot, and I watched lots of Dorking games, and you have an idea. You know how they play.
Yeah, there's an identity, isn't there?
There is, but then coaching that. And learning that is it's not overnight. No. Like I like to think I'm a good coach and I can do it. Of course I can, but it takes time, and it takes time for me to work with people. So there's loads of different stuff going on, The club forever seems to be evolving and growing as well, which again I didn't know until I sort of come here. So I think you put all those things together, like they're big factors. But I do think there has been some spatterings of really good performances and lots to sort of be confident on and you'd rather sort of be asking these questions now around like how our maybe points on the board is probably what people look at, but it's better than asking them now and fixing them now than asking them after in like February and March and chasing your tail really. But I think like coming off the back of the last game was Eastleigh. I think it was a pretty positive game really.
It was, definitely.
So are you starting to see more of those things that you try to implement within the coaching and within those sort of things that you're feeling a bit more positive about?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I mean, I think ultimately we are a sort of swashbuckling side who keep the ball really, really well, but want to score goals, and that's where we want to be, and hopefully that you can start to see elements of that. I thought, I said Eastleigh, I mean positive, but they were early sort of title favourites. I know they've had not the best start themselves, but you still look at their starting lineup, and I know they didn't they come here and win like 2 or 3-0 last year as well.
That's the first time we've had a point against them, I think, because they knocked us out the FA Cup last year, beat us 4-0 at their place and beat us 3-1 here, I think, in the league. And we'd never had much success against them before.
I think positive, definitely against them.
I think the disappointing thing with York and with Eastleigh is obviously we didn't win, right? And you probably would look at them and go, well, maybe we should have won. But I think as a you'd rather, I always say as a coach, you'd rather like come away from games and you know what, we played 70%, 80%, we played well there, and we're probably unlucky not to win, rather than coming away not creating anything and maybe like going, oh God, where's our next win going to come from? I think we continue to progress on from York and from Southend and from Eastleigh. We'll start picking up more points.
Okay, that's good then.
Thank God.
Have you had to change your coaching philosophy to match what is here, or is it very similar anyway?
I think it's similar anyway.
I
think there's
so what is your sort of philosophy as a coach there? How would you describe the sort of style of teams that you've kind of had? Is it possession based? Is it kind of wanting to attack and score goals, or
so I do like to high press, and I think I'll do like that. I think it's difficult to do all of the time in this league.
Like Woking did against us.
They're unbelievable. It was ridiculous.
Poor Niall and Seb spent most of that game facing their own goal, didn't they? Because they simply couldn't turn and get behind those. Was it Moss and the other fullback? Just such press every time.
They won't be able to do that every game because of they almost played the ideal back to back, didn't they? For them, because they played us in Gateshead, where they can do it, but then like. Good luck doing that against like I don't know, a Southend who'll have lots of variety. So I think again it's tough to get all the time in this league because so many teams will come with sort of a direct style of play or a bit of a different style of player. So I do like to do that. I think just ultimately, but I think the best way to put it is like high energy, good work rate, good recovery runs, good in transition. I think it's important. I'm big on winning transition. So. Can we keep the ball when we win it, or can we go and score? And when we lose it, can we go and get it back quick? And I do like to play it from the back, and I do like to keep possession. So I'm at the right club in terms of the style. Certainly suits what I like. I'd much rather be here, like talking about a style I believe in, and. Of course, it's never going to sit 100% with what I want to do, but 98% of it does, and I think to find that would be a rare thing, really. I could easily be sitting at a club without naming clubs in the division, where I'm 20% or 15% on board with what they're doing. So I think there's loads of good things, and the way we play is certainly one of those things, and. I'm 100% bought in from the off. I think the Aldershot side I had last year was difficult because I'd come in after 15 games and I never really never really got to put a stamp on it or bring my own players in.
No.
But I think we were always a team that worked hard, and if we had an opportunity to get an extra player on the back line, we would, and we would try and keep the ball and play.
Yeah.
But the sort of culture and the philosophy here is set, and that's obviously great to come into.
Yeah.
It's just about trying to sort of coach it and drill it in as much as we can.
So it wasn't too much of a hard sell then when Mark phoned you up?
No, not at all. Not at all. He was great. He was great, man. Like, I think it's like, obviously there's the sense that you've earned it, and I was probably going to move abroad was where I was at. Yeah.
Wow.
I just I wanted to move abroad for a while, and I'd spoke to like Ian Birchnell, so like it was probably on the cards that I was going to do, whether it was going to go to Scandinavia or something, and then Mark sort of rang me, like, said out the blue, and I said out the blue, he'd been speaking to me for like 2 or 3 months in the sort of interim, and he'd been super helpful, and a couple of jobs I'd sort of in and around National League South had come up for me, and he was like very supportive, very helpful around those jobs, and then obviously this came up, and I think he rang me and said, "Can you let me know in the next hour?" And I said, and I rang him about a minute later. Like 1 minute, so like, yeah, I'm in. I'll start next Monday.
Excellent. So what is your role sort of day to day then, Ross? Is it a day to day role?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I'm essentially the only full-time member of staff.
Okay.
So I think it's the best way of describing it. Obviously, we're in twice a week, so I'll pretty much deliver on those 2 days and organise the coaching staff in terms of what that looks like for them, and support them if they need in terms of their delivery. And then we'll deliver like pre-match and post-match analysis, which I'll sort of put together as a presentation, and then essentially spend the rest of my time just watching games, and whether that's watching our game back. So like Sunday, for example, I'll watch our game twice, and then that we played on the Saturday, and then I'll look at clips and I'll clip together relating to what the plan was. So if the plan was, I don't know, if the plan was to high press, for example, I'll do good and bad clips of high pressing, just to sort of drill that home. So that is like, it sounds like that's a long day. It is. It's just bitty, putting clips together and putting everything together. So
and is that then shown at training when the players come in?
Yeah. So I've spent yesterday doing that. Today just sort of like fine tuning it with the gaffer, and he'll obviously have a huge input on it, and then he'll deliver it tomorrow, and me and him will spend Tuesday and Wednesday planning what the pre-match info looks like for the players on Thursday. And even then, just I'm saying it out loud, like you think when I was at Aldershot, we're in Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday generally was. So then we would do like Monday, we'd probably do some analysis around the game, but sometimes because you might have a long travel, you might actually, do you know what's Monday, we'll sit down with the staff, we'll watch the game. We don't have that here.
No.
And then Tuesday we'll then do the analysis with the players. So you've sat down with the staff, and then on Tuesday you've done with the players, and then on Wednesday we'll look at the opposition, and on Thursday we'll do what we're going to do.
Okay.
So you look at all that, how spread out that is.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you look at like how much time you've got to put into that. You've got staff, and you'll see all the staff. All these staff have other jobs, and to communicate with them during the day is difficult. So I think there's like, even just thinking about that out loud is one of the real challenges you do get. And everyone else in the league will be obviously full time. Yeah, I remember Mark saying, that sometimes prep before a game had been done on the coach. Just literally just on the way to the game. Like the Halifax away game. I'm just going to do prep on the coach on the way up there on Tuesday night, because that's the first chance we've had to see anybody since everybody left the ground at 5:30 on Saturday. Oh no way, that's mad, isn't it? Yeah. But like, I think you don't like you underestimate how important just having time is. Like with even just with like being in the building and like coming into somewhere to sit, I think is is a real positive thing if you can get it, and that's where we're getting to. And
I was going to say that must be quite exciting to feel that could potentially be happening then in the foreseeable.
Oh yeah,
that is something that
amazing.
That the club's never had before. So although that you've come in at that time of transition, you'll move into a place where it's going to be better and more familiar with what you've done before.
100%. I think it's going to be like a full-time professional football club, and that's amazing. And people have worked in here, have worked here for God knows how many years. So like, who'd have thought that? So I mean, I kicked a ball around for them in the past. Did you really?
2002, 3
really? What position did you play?
One of the West Sussex leagues.
Did you really?
There's loads of us out there, all locally. Anybody, pretty much any lads that are about my age in their 40s and stuff, have played at some point. Played for Wanderers out at Rockham and the Big Field and stuff like that, and then at West Humble, and now we're all back here with our kids and stuff watching.
Amazing.
It's mad how quick it rises and changes.
And Mark's still there.
Rightly so.
But it's mad, because like you say, at some point it'll be a full-time professional football club.
And rightly so. It needs to be. It needs to be, and it needs to be just like, I think there's a. You can easily get sidetracked by like thinking, we just with the training, but there's so much other stuff comes to it with it, and even just like that ability to sit like. We were all like, again, you use other clubs as an example, like you can do yoga in the afternoons, or you can do gym sessions in the afternoons, or you can do like I could get groups of individual players and sit down with them on different days, and like having that opportunity to be able to do all that is obviously going to come, and if that even just gives us 1 or 2% extra, that's what you'll need to get us into, whether that's the top 7 or whatever that looks like. So we're going to get that, and you've got to remember what you're competing against, and what that looks like, really.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you know the league pretty well, so you know a lot of the players, don't you? And you know a lot of the people that you've come up against as well. So I guess that's kind of an advantage sometimes for you, perhaps, to know some of those places and know some of those people and those teams and stuff like that. Just having that experience as well. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I haven't done it last year, and I think you get invested in the league, and you sort of end up just watching. Like if you're getting on a Saturday night and you go, should I watch Liverpool versus Chelsea? No, let's watch Oldham versus Gateshead.
But it's mad, but the coverage is there now, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's a good thing for anybody that's watching those games, and not watching it just as a fan or somebody that's just interested in it, but somebody that's looking to do analysis of those games has got that opportunity to do that now, and not just picking up scraps or speaking to somebody who might be up there that can you go along and watch the game and send us a report back and stuff, where you can actually watch that play out on the screen at the same time, can't you?
100%. I wonder how many analysis Chesterfield have got. Do you know what I mean? Like even just thinking about that, I bet they've probably got like 5 or 6. I remember when we were in Wrexham last year, there's like analysis in the dugout, isn't there? And while watching different videos, and you think about, like, even again, if that's just 1%, that's sort of what you're competing against.
We didn't put out for questions for this one because we just wanted to sit down and have a chat with you, but we did get a couple of things, and one of the ones that we've got a guy who watches us out in America, and he did send in a few questions. One of the things he sort of spoke about was the injuries. Is there anything particular that's you said earlier about some of the fact that some of these lads got jobs and stuff like that? Is there a specific, it's difficult because we're not medical people, but is there a specific reason why we pick up so many injuries, do you think?
Well,
is that one?
Obviously I've only been here 3 months, so
but you obviously know the back, at times that queue outside there, the room is going around the corner, and it's like a scene out of MASH, there's bodies everywhere and stuff.
Well, I think there's loads of factors.
And you would have seen it even at the Chesterfield game when everyone was just
I think
absolutely on their feet after.
But again, you've got to remember we're part-time, and you're running up again, you're out running, and I can imagine if you looked at both the running stats, and you've covered the same amount of distance, and like a lot of our boys would have been at work the day before, if not all of them. And Chesterfield would have been doing 5 sides and maybe some stretching and some
a week.
The day before. So that is a big factor. I think I know Mark's been very honest about pre-season, and I think he spoke about how he got that wrong. So I think he said that's had a big factor, and obviously can play a small part, like age of players, once some players start to get injuries and niggles, and it can just lead on. And
it takes longer sometimes to get over them as well.
Like Frank, he's been injured quite a few times.
Yeah.
Like just knocks, but it's left him out a couple. Like he goes one game, misses the next, he's back, and then he's missing the next one, and it's almost like
it just takes people longer sometimes as you get older. Just you'll experience it one day, mate. As you get older.
When I'm your age.
It takes longer, but I suppose that is a factor, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
The
It's
recovery
massive.
periods are longer. And,
age of players.
And then there isn't recovery, is there, for a lot of them? Because, like you say, they're back into work.
Well, you look at it again logically. Like, let's say a player goes down injured here, and then like you look at, well, you can use York as an example. York are full time or Aldershot full time. Their physio will see them on Monday.
Yeah.
We won't see them till Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because unless we go to that,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So you even have those periods like where not everyone's part time, and so you're working part time, and obviously people are working like ridiculous hours to try and catch up and to try and do things, but there's only so much you can do when players have other things to do, and just trying to see them. So they'll all play such a big part of it, and I think as we transition to full time, you'll see, certainly maybe not this year but next year, you'll see players. It'll be a certain type of player that can play full time, because the players who earn X amount of money, etc., might not be able to do it or whatever, or where. So then we'll have players who are a bit younger. Then the body will start to get used to playing full time, and it'll get put under a bit more duress and a bit more strain, so that when it does play games, it's almost like the game is the easy part. I've done a sort of a week of training, and my body is sort of like able to cope with the longer season, or Saturday, Tuesday. You got me. Saturday, we do Saturday, Tuesday. I see them on Saturday, say goodbye, and then see them on Tuesday. Like again, the clubs are in Sunday and Monday, and it's just trying to sort of, we'll get there. Has a big part to play, but I think it's just a lot of factors and a lot of different things.
And the other point that Rob made was just sort of defensively, and I think it was evident Saturday. The defence was better Saturday, because there has been times this season, obviously, when it has struggled to cope, hasn't it? It's kind of a wondrous thing over even the last few years. Obviously you came here last year, Aldershot put 3 past us, Oldham put 5 past us, Wrexham, numerous other clubs. There was one point, we finished the season obviously on a massively negative goal difference, and unfortunately, the start of this season's conceded again. Goals, and is that something that is obviously trying to work towards and make us harder to beat, harder to score against, as well as trying to play that free-flowing football as we go forward?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Like, I was a defender, and I hated conceding goals and stuff, and I think first of all, you play an expansive style of football. You are going to be left open. Of course you are. So you've got to try and find solutions within that system. So rather than going, all right, we just won't play football. Like, we need to, well, this is what we look like. So how do we recover into our shape quicker, or how do we, when we lose the ball, like we've got players in certain areas. So they look at like people like Dan Pybers has come in, and Dan Gallagher comes in, and he massively helps with that. And it's just getting consistency. Consistency is key in a consistent back three and a consistent 2 or 1 in front, which again we just haven't had. And like football is a simple game that you get. The team generally with the best players wins the game, and you get the consistency of picking the regular players regularly. You'll do better. You'll just do better. You'll just build connections. Like I watched a thing with Arteta talking about the sort of socio part of it, like where players just build that connection when they play together, or play together for so long. So we'll be better for it when we get the regular back three out, 100%, and probably that's why it looked a little bit more solid the other day. But like I said, expansive football is...
It's that risk reward, isn't it?
It is. And you can do both. You absolutely can do both, because as we become, and again, this is my job, as the coaches, as we become more used to movements, and as we become more used to how each other work, and we drill that in at training, we'll become better at reacting and adapting to it. So we need to be proactive in our shape and continue to be the wanderers that we are, and learning to sort of deal with it within that system, if that makes sense, rather than just sort of like deciding not to do it. That'd be boring, right?
Yeah.
Would be boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Absolutely. Like, you want to be like, you want to try and play football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could just be mate then, just defend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's teams that will forever spend time in this league just thingy. And I think if you're going to get out of this league, you've got to do something different. And whether that's like recruitment, or whether that's how you train, or whether that's how you play, you've got to be proactive, and you've got to do something different. And we are that.
Yeah, I agree, because otherwise, like you say, you just spend forever in this division, don't you?
Just kicking it along.
Yeah, and
like,
that's what lots and lots of teams do. Yeah,
do.
Mark says, you know, alludes to those in those interviews, doesn't he, that there are teams that have just been in this league forever.
And will be forever.
Yeah,
will be forever.
Yeah.
And we're not that. He's not built like that.
No,
he wants to get out of this league, and the way to get out of this league is, like I said, by being front foot, by being different, by being sort of like innovative and creative, and of course he'll be the first to say there's stuff that we aren't there with, and certainly in terms of like my job coming in, and we've got to be better at certain things, but we know what we want, and we're certainly going to get there with it.
Yeah. I've got one more point to bring up, Ross.
Go on, yeah.
I'm not going to say how hard was it. How was it at the start of this season without having Mark on the touchline? How did you find that?
You've got to remember, I worked at Aldershot, which is like the fans there. I remember getting, we were 1-0 down at home to Notts County. Was it 1-0 down at home Notts County? Yeah, 1-0 down at Notts County. And we got booed off.
At home?
At home, yeah. And we were 1-1 at home to Torquay. We hadn't played very well. We hadn't played very well at all, actually, but we were good second half, and we could have easily come in. We were 1-1 at home, we got booed off at home, so we 1-1. Right. So, like, it's brain pressure. Mark's a winner, and Mark will always be a winner, and the challenge is just trying to sort of, like, keep up with his standards and stuff. And I think, for me, I enjoy being in the dugout. Like, whether the future for me is management or not, doesn't really, I'm not really that bothered or that interested. I just want to be in a good environment where I get to coach and I get to learn and I work with good people, and that's probably the best thing. And I probably add to that, what I was thinking before was do it in the sun would be even better. That's why I was going to go abroad. But like, it was fine. No, it was fine. Yeah. Honestly, it was fine. It was the. Well,
you've experienced it before, haven't you? So it wasn't completely different.
The pressure was. I didn't feel pressure, but I want to win every game, and I think it's the same when he's there and stuff. He comes. I think a team always needs the manager. Yeah. Like always needs a manager, and you can dress it up as much as you want, and or you don't miss him or what. Of course you do. It's his team, and it's like it's an embodiment of him in terms of his passion and his enthusiasm. So like Pep wasn't there for Man City the other day, and I know they're still winning stuff, but it's the same principle. Like he's the manager, and whether you like it or not, we are better for it when he's in there. So like, it is obviously great to have him back. Yeah. But when he wasn't there, he was of course missed, and we were all like taught him like be better when he comes back into it. Yeah.
Anything from you, Tobes?
No, that's right.
All I want to say is thanks so much for coming on, Ross.
No worries.
Really appreciate it. It's been really interesting listening to you speaking about the club. Yeah. It doesn't take long for Wanderers to kind of get you, does it?
No, it doesn't. And it doesn't. Well, I know Jason was bet stone and stuff.
Oh yeah, Joe. You obviously had Joe, didn't you?
Yeah. Joe. So I had like.
I remember him and Fee spoke very highly of you.
Fair.
I went down at Torquay last year and chatted to them for a while, and they were spoke very highly of you for everything you did for Joe over at Aldershot and everything.
Yeah, they're like good people, like, and they always used to speak. So like, even though I've got absolutely zero connection to this club before coming here, I always used to look out for it because of Jason, because of like Joe. So I always had that sort of little bit of a like interest in like how they were getting on, and Jason obviously super passionate and great with it, so he would always like keep me updated. So, but I think hearing about it and then coming and being part of it is like it is sort of what I expected and more really.
Yeah. Excellent.
No, thank you for having me on.
No, thank you.
Brilliant, mate.
Cheers. I think we're done.